Welcome to another episode of Dr. Brook on the Block. It's time to grab a seat, buckle up, and take a ride with me through the wild, wild west of the Web3 universe, where we're going to learn all about coins and tokens, NFTs and contracts, digital real estate and the metaverse, and so much more. There's a lot to get through on the block, but I am here to pave the way and help you avoid those nasty pitfalls and rug pulls so you don't get hurt. I'm going to also introduce you to some interesting characters along the way. Are you ready? Your ride starts now. What's up, friend? Thank you so much for being here. If you are brand new to Dr. Brook on the Block, welcome. You are in for a very exciting ride. If you are a returning rider, you are also in for a very exciting ride. I know you know what it's going to be like. And so thank you so much for returning, and thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all of your support and love. I am Dr. Brook, the cryptopractor, and I will be your guide through the wild, wild west today. So while the ride is getting warmed up and we are getting ready to do all the twists and turns and the uphills and the downhills through this roller coaster, I want to share with you some key concepts to take away from this episode when we get pulled back into the station. All right. So first things first, what is blockchain technology and how is it utilized? How is it going to be used in the world? What are the three ways that I believe blockchain technology is going to change the world? And then at the end of it, I want to provide you a word of caution before you take a step off that ledge or take a step into this world. If you already haven't, or if you haven't stepped into the world, if you are already in, these are also key concepts you can apply to what you're doing now and currently. So with that being said, let's get started. So first things first, what is blockchain technology? How can blockchain be defined in the simplest terms? Really, blockchain technology, if you want to break it down, is a bunch of different computers all over the globe, all connected to the same network. So all of these computers connected to this network send data back and forth to each other. They cluster information into these blocks. Once the block is full, depending on how many transactions can fit into that block is considered full and then linked together to another block. Now, the transactions found in these blocks cannot be changed. They're completely immutable. None of the information can be changed at that point. So that might still sound a little confusing or a little vague to some of you who may be brand new and crypto curious, trying to understand all of this. So let me kind of also explain it this way. So you have all of these computers globally around the world, and they're all communicating with each other. Right now, the way that technology is working is we have computers on a network that are connected together. So you have your Apple information on an Apple cloud. Well, that cloud information is sent to wherever Apple has a headquarters or their cloud computing information, it's being sent there. So, God forbid there be a big, huge act of God and, the whole entire system get wiped out. You would lose all of your information. If you want to break it down to just your simple computer at home, you have all of this information on your computer. If your computer gets stolen, if the computer stops working, if the hard drive gets wiped for whatever reason, you lose all of your data. Not with blockchain technology. Blockchain technology works in this way. All of those computers all link together globally, running the same information. They're computing problems, or they're like computing different acts of detail, and they're making it to where you can have access to this information. So all of these computers link together. If somebody goes down, or if somebody's a bad actor, I'm in California. If my computer goes down, or I become a bad actor and I try to change some details in there to make it work in my advantage or make it work in my friend's advantage, I will be called out because it is clear as day, because there's transparency with blockchain technology. So, what that really truly means is we are now entering an era of technology where things are passing beyond just our country borders or our state lines or our city lines or our town lines or our home lines. And we're really breaking down those barriers, pushing down those walls, and we are operating on a global scale. So this is not transactions that are just happening in the United States. These are transactions, there's people running nodes. And when you're a node running a node on the blockchain, you are a computer that is validating transactions in the blockchain. Okay, so we're going to get into that a little bit more so it's a lot clearer. I know that may sound very, very vague still, but bear with me, okay? We're continuing on. It's going to get clearer as we continue on with this, right? So these validators all over the globe are validating transactions on the blockchain. They are a part of that community. Okay, so let's get into why. Well, first off, I want to go backwards 1 second. Understand that you do not need to understand every little aspect of blockchain technology and how all of the technology pieces work, just like we don't understand how, websites are built or how other things operate. We don't have to understand how they operate in order to use them. Our cell phones are a great example. I have an iPhone. I don't know the back end of how Apple iPhones, have all their chips and the information inside. I don't know how that information works to be able to make a phone call going out or to be able to open up a web browser on the phone or to use apps on the phone. I just go to the App Store and I download it and it just shows up and here it is, right? So we don't have to understand that. Do not get yourself caught in the weeds. Understand blockchain technology is this what I just explained, all of these computers speaking to each other globally that are able to validate transactions and have that proof of ownership. So now, in saying that, proof of ownership, that is actually one way in the three ways that I'm going to discuss on how I think blockchain technology is going to change the world. One of those ways is through ownership. Currently, right now, people own homes, we own cars, we have, collectibles that we own, we have stuff, material goods that we own. Maybe we own also like paper assets, like stocks and bonds and different things, right? At this point in time, anybody can raise their hand in an audience and say they own a Lamborghini. Okay. They could say, I own X, Y, and Z. Well, there's no way of really validating that statement. And not that it's a big deal to validate that statement. Some people will be like, well, why do I care if so-and-so said they own a Lamborghini? Okay, you may not care, and I understand that. But what blockchain technology is truly doing is really bringing back ownership. And blockchain technology is bringing back ownership to us via smart contracts. So right now, think about it like this. You utilize Facebook, you utilize Twitter or LinkedIn or Instagram or TikTok, all of that. All of the data about you, every bit of information that you have out there on these platforms, what videos you're hearting, what videos you're liking, what pictures are standing out to you, and you're being fed information based on those algorithms. Those companies are making billions of dollars off of that data to serve you ads that fit your criteria or to serve you information that fit your criteria. If you build a great big brand on these platforms, you are exposed to actually being censored and being pulled off and losing your entire platform, losing your entire audience. We've seen this happen in 2020, 2021. It can still continue on even in this day and age in 2022. It still is, in fact, based upon you posting information that do not fit their narrative. Okay, so Yeah, sure. Maybe you use these platforms and you're still like, okay, I don't care about ownership. What, like, why would I care about blockchain? Okay, I get that. Let's present it a different way. Let's say you purchase a home or you're looking to buy real estate. Right now you have to go through a title company, you have to go through, a mortgage broker, you have to do all of these different things to make that transaction happen. Purchasing a home is not like going into the grocery store and purchasing a loaf of bread, grabbing the loaf of bread off the shelf, putting it on the conveyor belt, scanning it, scanning your credit card, giving them cash, whatever you do, and then you take the loaf of bread home. There is a lot of bits and pieces in purchasing a home. Purchasing a home, the whole home buying experience is going to happen on blockchain technology in the coming years. Mark my words. Currently, these title companies and these mortgage brokers and all the people involved in the process are getting their hands right in the pockets of what you could be getting for the sale of the home and or the purchase of the home, either one. And with blockchain technology, that ownership is going to be able to transact through these smart contracts saying Dr. Brook is going to buy my home for $500,000. And when this transaction, when the $500,000 hits my account, everything happens smoothly through that smart contract. And there's no mess of all these titles. There's no mess of all this stuff because all the information on the blockchain is transparent. It's transparent. It's right there. You can look it up. Who owns this home? Who owns this Lamborghini? Who owns this retail center? All of that information is transparent on the blockchain. This is the technology in which is getting built around blockchain technology. Right now, we're so early on in the scene that people don't get it because they are getting caught up on these JPEG pictures and thinking that this is what it's going to be like in the future. But the way we conduct business with each other, the way we operate is going to completely shift on its face. The other thing to talk about ownership, I briefly touched on transparency, but that's number two, transparency. And again, these are in no particular order, but transparency is such a big one. Because you can see every single transaction on the blockchain, you can verify information need be. As a caveat, I want to say, because my audience is a lot of newbie, crypto people, newbies coming into the scene. Maybe they're crypto curious and they don't know a lot. I want to make it known that when I say it's transparent, it doesn't necessarily say Brook Sheehan has transacted with John Smith in this transaction. It says wallet address, la 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 la, has sold their house to wallet, la 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 la. So you don't necessarily know. You would have to have, skills to dive deeper into all these things, which of course people are building out, and you can kind of see that if need be, but at least there's aspect of ownership and transparency. I want to get that across. Transparency with the blockchain. Because things can be seen and movement happening, you can find out who owned the home before you did, or who owned all of the other assets before you got them. Or if you're making a sale, you will obviously be part of that whole chain of information because the information is there. This is something that is almost unheard of in today's day and age. When we talk about ownership of data that is being owned by so many big conglomerates in the world, all these huge corporations owning information, and we willingly give it to them. We willingly accept having this state of being where they can tell us exactly what, happens with the information. And we just have to go along with it. With blockchain, it is so beyond what the world currently knows that there's a little bit of an adoption period in terms of like a learning curve for people to understand why this is so important. And this is what I love to teach. This is what I love to talk about, and how to help you guys get to the point where this makes complete sense to you. It makes complete sense to you to come in early, like we are right now, and understand that, guys, there's so many things that can be done here. So the third thing that I want to talk about, how I think blockchain will shift the world, is through sovereignty. I hit on it a little earlier where I was talking to you about ownership and censorship and, not being able to, or being able to be deplatformed if they don't think that you're speaking their same messaging. With blockchain technology and the companies and the applications that are being built on top of it, there's a sense of sovereignty. What you create and the community that you build behind that has the ability to really truly like create a sense of sovereignty for everybody. And this is one of the reasons why I believe governments are not really big on it, and governments are trying to do what they can to shut the entire thing down. There's countries that will not allow people to do Bitcoin mining, and there's countries that, are turning off electricity and making it very difficult, making it to a crime if you do these things. There is sovereignty and freedom in utilizing blockchain technology, and you may be so in the dark on how to utilize blockchain technology in your life and in your business. And I get that. There's so much noise out there. It truly is a wild, wild west. But this is what I want to give you as a word of caution. There are so many blockchains out there. There are so many people doing shady things, but there are an incredible, incredible amount of people that are building incredible projects, incredible companies that are built utilizing blockchain technology that are going to completely shift everything on their head. So it's very important to be vigilant. It's very important to do your own research. I posted a video on my YouTube channel, go check it out, that shows you like how to do proper research on projects, how to look into this, and just keep an open mind. That is the biggest thing. Keep an open mind as to how you can utilize blockchain technology and the products that are offered and the projects and the companies that are offered through it that can completely shift the way that you see the world, operate in the world, and show up in the world. Blockchain technology is going nowhere. It's a fast moving train. It is continuing to get like stronger and stronger and stronger, to the point that big institutionalized investors who didn't want anything to do with it are now starting to work with the Security Exchange Committee for the United States to try and get their money into the system as well. Some of them have already done that. But they're looking to get in a lot different kind of ways, or in many different kind of ways, and actually include cryptocurrency as part of their portfolios and their investment products that they allow people to invest into. It's also why the government is starting their own currency, CB, central bank crypto, central bank digital currency, CBDC. But I will actually tell you, I don't think that that's a good thing. I do not think that the central bank digital currency is going to be a good thing for us as individuals. This is them trying to take the power back. So now the people have risen up, have like coming to the forefront and saying, you know what, it's not okay what you're doing. We're not okay with this. We're not going to play your game, and we're going to make rules according to our terms. And we're not going to do it the way you want us to do it. And so what they're trying to do now is like, oh my gosh, because this fast moving train, they're making it to be where, oh, hey, all of these things are falling by the wayside. Look at all this shakeout happening. Look at these crypto companies going down. They're going down because they weren't great players in the market to begin with. This is what happens in any changing technology. There is shakeout. BlackBerry no longer exists. Apple shook them out. Google, Android shook them out. All the other, phone companies, they were unwilling to change and shift. So they got shooken out. This is what is currently happening in the cryptocurrency space. It's important to not invest with emotion, not get in there thinking you're going to have an investment go to the sky or the moon, in a matter of days, but understand you are doing solid research, understanding fundamentals of different blockchains, understanding how they work. I talk about different consensus types. We go through all the blockchain things that you need to understand on this podcast. If you haven't checked out prior episodes, do so now. It will help you get an understanding of what is going on. So, in recap, as we pull this cart into the station for today, blockchain technology is computers all across the globe connecting and talking to each other, supporting one another, building that strong community, having the transactions housed in blocks, right? They're validating transactions to put those transactions in the block, whether those are financial transactions, whether those are contract deals. Hey, I said I'm going to pay you $50 if my sports team lost. That $50 immediately gets transferred to you upon that loss. This technology is ever evolving. We talked about the 3 ways in which it's going to change the world: through ownership, owning everything, having a blueprint in the internet space, because all of these transactions can be seen and you have true ownership, transparency, and sovereignty. And then we also talked about having some caution when you're stepping out into the space. This is so vitally important. I should have started with this, but it's so vitally important that you understand what it truly means to operate safely in these wild, crazy times. So, on that note, thank you all for being here. Thank you for being part of this ride with us today. And if you would be so kind as to take a step out on your right side to allow others to enter the ride for the next round of Dr. Brook on the Block. Until next time, I will see you on the other side.
You made it! Congratulations! That wasn't so bad, was it? I hope you laughed and learned a little bit more about this Web3 universe and how simple and fun it can really be. Would you be so kind as to leave us a review and share it with your friends and family? It would mean so much to get this out to more people as we embark on the greatest transfer of wealth that has ever happened in human history. Can't wait to see you on the next one.